Hi everyone, I am Professor Pawar Anita, working as an assistant professor in KK Wag Education Society's KK Wag Arts, Commerce, Science and Computer Science College, Sandori, District, Nashik. Dear students, I welcome all to my YouTube channel. Today, I am going to focus on the multiple choice type of questions which will help you for the upcoming exam which is scheduled by the Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. Dear students, be tension free and be confident. You only tick one option and submit the test successfully during the online exam. Now, I would like to mention here one of the thing. In this presentation, I am going to focus on for the MA part number 2, semester number 3, paper number 3.1, having the title Indian Writing in English. In this presentation, I prepared some of the sample questions and their answers, that is presentation practice paper. Before going to in detail, I would like to introduce you the syllabus for this paper number 3.1, having the title Indian Writing in English, which is a core paper. For the semester number 3, only 4 units are here. Unit number 1, one of the novel Kanthapura, which is written by the great Indian novelist Raja Rao. Kanthapura is the Raja Rao's first best known novel, which is published in 1938. And Achakka is the narrator in this novel, and Murthy is the central character. This is a regional novel, but some critics said that this is a Gandhian novel. In this novel, here is the story of a South Indian village named Kanthapura. So, the title of this novel is Kanthapura. So, we should study the novel Kanthapura in unit number 1. Now, unit number 2, the novel having the title Nectar in a Sieve, written by Kamla Markandeya. Nectar in a Sieve is a novel which is published in 1954, and Rukmani is the central character. The title of this novel is taken from a poem by S.T. Coleridge having the title Work Without Hope. The title of this novel reflects the meaning of the book. Nectar is a lovely liquid that will eventually drain away when put into a sieve, that is a sifter. The title is a beautiful way to talk about the inevitable draining of life in the face of suffering and death. The events of the novel parallel this theme quite closely, so the title is apt. So, we study this novel in the unit number 2, having the title Nectar in a Sieve. Now, in unit number 3, we also study the poems from D'Orazio to Sarojini Naidu. And the first one poet Henry D'Orazio having two poems, number 1 Freedom to the Slave, and the second one The Orphan Girl. In this poem number 1 Freedom to the Slave, this poem is about the free slave and his feelings. And the second one poem having the title The Orphan Girl, this poem is about a young girl who is orphan, and the poet is also concerned about the orphan girl's future in this world. So, we study Henry D'Orazio's two poems. Now, the second one poet, Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt, known as pioneer in the history of Indian literature, and his two poems, Sita and the Sower. The first one poem, Sita. In this poem, Toru Dutt narrated the story of Sita from Indian mythology. In this poem, a mother at a bedtime told the story of Sita to her children. The story comes alive with the mother's narration. Children are all attentive with much interest. And the second one poem having the title The Sower. This poem is also taken from Duss's collection, A Sheep Glean in French Fields, which published in 1876, and is a translation of a Victor Hugo's poem. It is also describe encounter between the speaker who sits in the porchway and also watching the sower who is planting seeds. That's why the title of this poem is The Sower. Now I would like to turn the next one poet Manmohan Ghosh. The title of his poem is also Can It Be. Then next one poet Sri Aurobindo. His two poems Rose of God and The Tiger and the Deer. In the poem Rose of God, the poet also used the reference of the God who is really beyond all naming. And the opening of this poem is also very artistic. The vermilion sun appears like a kumkumam mark on the forehead of a beautiful woman. And the rose, which is called as a god, is also symbolized by the poet. And the second one poem of this poet, Sri Aurobindo's, having the title The Tiger and the Deer, which reminds us William Blake's poem The Tiger and the Lamb. The Tiger of William Blake's poem having the title Songs of Experience, which is also a symbol of a world of adults. And the second one poem The Lamb of written by William Blake, which is also included in the Songs of Innocence, which is also symbol of the world of children. As the same way here, the poem The Tiger and the Deer, which is also called as a Blakean poem. The next one poet I am going to introduce, Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore's two poems are here, Defamation and Little Flute. And dear students, Rabindranath Tagore is also known as the first Asian. Rabindranath Tagore, the first Asian lyricist, awarded Nobel Prize for his Gitanjali, which is also awarded in 1913, and Rabindranath Tagore known as Bard of Bengal, and he is also known as the pioneer or the writer of the national anthem of India and Bangladesh also. Now his poem Little Flute. Here in this poem the poet compares his body to a flute made of reeds, and God is the musician and always plays new and fresh melodies. So the title of this poem is Little Flute. Then second one poem Defamation. In this poem the poet presents the description or the narration of the children, the world of children. The children always scolded by the adults. So the meaning of the word defamation means the blaming someone. Now I turn to Sarojini Naidu's poems. First one, Autumn Song. This is a metaphorical poem. Here the poetess compared autumn with the condition of her heart. This poem also consists only two stanzas, but also very meaningful one. And the second one poem having the title Summer Woods. In this poem the poetess also comments on the artificiality of modernism and mechanization of city life. And the last one unit number 4, here one of the autobiographical sketch by R.K. Narayan having the title My Days, a Memoir. And in this autobiographical sketch R.K. Narayan also presents the very humorous story about his marriage life. In this way I also introduce you the syllabus of this semester number 3. Now I am going to start in detail the objective types of questions for this paper number 3.1 having the title Indian Writing in English. First one question I am going to read. Who is the writer of the novel Kanthapura? Of course, the option number B is correct, Raja Rao. Because Kanthapura is Raja Rao's first novel. Because Kanthapura is no any novel written by Shashi Tharoor or R.K. Narayan or the Mulkraj Anand. So the option number B is correct. Now second one question. Kanthapura is dash type of novel. Of course, Kantapura is also original novel, so the option C is correct. And then question number 3. Didash is the protagonist of the novel Kantapura. Murthy is the protagonist or the central character of the novel Kantapura. Because the remaining three characters are not the central characters, so Murthy is the protagonist of the novel Kantapura, so the option B is correct. Now question number 4. Didash is the name of the river in the novel Kantapura. Of course, no in a reference of the Mithi, because the name of Mumbai's river is also Mithi, and there is a no any reference of the Mumbai, then Padma or the Narmada rivers. There is only reference of the Hemavati river. So the option C is correct. Hemavati is the name of a river in the novel Kanthapura. Then question number 5. Who narrate the story in Raja Rao's novel Kanthapura? Of course, Achakka is the narrator of this novel. So the option A is correct. Now I'd like to read the question number 6. Who is the only person who has returned to Kanthapura at the end of the novel Kanthapura? The option A is correct because Murthy is the only person who returned to Kanthapura at the end of the novel. So the option A is correct. Now question number 7. Which of the following is the main deity which is also referenced in the novel Kanthapura? Of course, Kenchamma. So the option A is correct. Then question number 8. Who is known as the father of India? Of course, Mahatma Gandhi. So the option B is correct. Now question number 9. In the novel Kanthapura, the character Sinu, a villager, a close friend of Didash since his childhood. While we study the novel Kanthapura, we also studied that Murthy is the person and Sinu, a villager who is also close friend of Murthy from his since his childhood. So the option A is correct. Then question number 10. Who played the role of antagonist in the novel Kanthapura? Of course, Bhatta, because he is also the type of villainous character. So here Bhatta is also played the role of antagonist in the novel Kanthapura, so the option A is correct. Now question number 11. Nectar in a Sieve is written by Kamla Markandaya, so the option C is correct. Now question number 12. Nectar in a Sieve is a Didash type of novel. Of course, Nectar in a Sieve is a semi-autobiographical novel written by Kamla Markandaya, so option A is correct. Now question number 13. The novel Nectar in a Sieve is published in 1954. Now, so the option B is correct. Question number 14. Who is the central character in the novel Nectar in a Sieve? Of course, Rukmani, because all the story interwoven around this character. So, Rukmani is the central character or the protagonist or the heroine of this novel. So, the option A is correct. Now, question number 15. The title of the novel Nectar in a Sieve is taken from S.G. Coleridge's poem Work Without Hope. So the option C is correct. Now question number 16. Who dies at the end of the novel Nectar in a Sieve? Of course, Nathan, who is also mentioned in the novel Kanthapura, husband of Rukmani, and he died at the end of the novel. So the option B is correct. Now question number 17. As the novel opens, what is Rukmani dreaming of? Of course, Rukmani is also dreaming of Nathan being with her. So the option C is correct. Now I turn to the question number 18. How old is Rukmani when she marries with Nathan? The option C is correct. 12 years. Rukmani only 12 years when she married with Nathan. So the option C is correct. Now question number 19. Why do Rukmani's parents arrange her marriage to Nathan? The option A is correct. Nathan requires no any dowry, so the option A is correct. Now question number 20. In the novel Nectar in a Sieve, the word nectar is a symbol of immortality, so the option C is correct. Now question number 21. Whom does Henry Dirazio address and praise in his poem Freedom to the Slave? Of course, the poet addresses freedom, so the option A is correct. Now question number 22. D'Orazio's poem Freedom to the Slave recounts the experience of a recently freed slave, so the option B is correct. Now, question number 23. The poem The Orphan Girl consists of only two stanzas but also remains a very meaningful poem. So, the option A is correct. Two stanzas are there. Now, question number 24. In the poem The Orphan Girl, the poet speaks about a young girl who lost her parents in the very early age. So, the option A is correct. Now, question number 25. The poem Sita is written by Toru Dutt. So, the option C is correct. Then, question number 26. The poem Sita begins with the image of three children in a darkened room. It's a bedtime, and children are being told a story by their mother. So the option C is correct. Now question number 27. The poem The Sower is written by Toru Dutt. So option A is correct. Question number 28. In the poem The Sower, the speaker is also sitting in the porchway. So the option D is correct. Question number 29. What time of the day mentioned in the poem The Sower? Of course, morning. So the option B is correct. Question number 30. What is the moral of the poem The Sower? Of course, one can achieve its target through also strong determination. So the option B is correct. Now question number 31. The poem Rose of God by Sri Aurobindo, in which the poet equated the rising sun and the descending, of course, the super mind. Then so the option A is correct. Question number 32. In the poem Rose of God, the redness of the sun symbolizes passion. So the option C is correct. Now question number 33. In the second stanza of the poem Rose of God, the reference of light which stands for unclouded knowledge. So the option A is correct. Now question number 34. The poem Rose of God is about the secrets of divine rose, that is God. So the option A is correct. Question number 35. The poem The Tiger and the Deer is really one of the most beautiful poems of Sri Aurobindo, which reminds us of nature and creation. So the option B is correct. Question number 36. The poem The Tiger and the Deer reminds us William Blake's poem The Tiger and the Lamb. So option A is correct. Now question number 37. Defamation means blaming someone. So option D is correct. Question number 38. Toru Dutt's poem Sita is a ballad type of poem. So option B is correct. Now question number 39. Identify the figure of speech in the following line. Her voice was soft as when night winds sing. Here as is the sign of simile. So the option B is correct. Simile is also used. So the option B is correct. Now question number 40. The poem Defamation is written by, of course, the great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. So the option D is correct. Question number 41. The poem Little Flute is written by Rabindranath Tagore. So option C is correct. Question number 42. In the poem Little Flute, the poet compares the human body to a flute which is made of reeds, because no any harmonium or the sitar or the drum made by the reeds. So the option A is correct. Question number 43. Rabindranath Tagore awarded by the Nobel Prize in 1930 for his Gitanjali. So option A is correct. Question number 44. The Tiger and the Deer is without any doubt a dash poem where the lambish element has been contrasted with the tigerly ferocity. Of course, William Blake's. So the option 1 is A is correct, that is Blakean. Question number 45. In the poem Rose of God, Sri Aurobindo uses the rose symbol not only divine beauty, color and fragrance, but it is the rise of light, power, life and love. So option A is correct. Now question number 46. The poem Autumn Song by Sarojini Naidu is a metaphorical poem. So option A is correct. Question number 47. In the poem Autumn Song, the poetess Sarojini Naidu compared the season of autumn with the condition of her heart. So option B is correct. Now, question number 48. The poem Autumn Song consists only two stanzas, but it remains a very meaningful poem in English literature also. Question number 49. Sarojini Naidu's poem Autumn Song represents a universal theme, that is, change is the nature of life. So, option A is correct. Now, question number 50. The poem Summer Woods is also begins with the poet's expression of boredom with the dash life, of course, city life. So, option number A is correct. Now, question number 51. My Days, a Memoir is written by R.K. Narayan. So, option A is correct. Question number 52. Memoir means memories. So, option A is correct. Question number 53. R.K. Narayan's My Days, a Memoir is a also autobiography. So, option B is correct. Question number 54. In My Days, a Memoir, the name of the monkey is Rama. So, the option B is correct. Question number 55. R.K. Narayan was an Indian writer known for his work set in the fictional South Indian town of dash, of course, Malgudi. So, the option B is correct. Question number 56. In My Days, a Memoir, R.K. Narayan shares his life story. So, option A is correct. Now, question number 57. R.K. Narayan's full name is Rashipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayan Swamy. So, option B is correct. Question number 58. Who was known as R.K. Narayan's mentor and friend? Of course, Graham Greene. So, the option C is correct. And question number 59. R.K. Narayan has been compared to always the great writer William Faulkner. So, option B is correct. And last one question number 60. R.K. Narayan was awarded for dash in 1958, The Guide. So, option A is correct. So, in this way, I prepared here in this presentation some of the sample questions and also explain my level based the answers of these multiple choice type of questions. I offer best luck all of you for the upcoming exam. Thank you very much.